Good evening. My name is LD Robinson, and welcome to day 16 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day 2024 edition. And we're, of course, excited to be here with you. We've been reading all month, well, for most of the month. And we are delighted to have you back with us. Before we get started, we want to invite you to subscribe to our website, greatblackreadaloudday.org, so that you can stay abreast of all the information of all the activities we will be doing this year. And also, we want to invite you to follow us online at Black Read Aloud. That is our handle on social media. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click that notification bell. Well, we are partners in literacy, as we have been telling you all month, and we want to let you know that the Fresh Book Festival is coming up in Daytona Beach, and it is February the 22nd through the 24th. That Thursday, the first day of the festival, is the Fresh Book Film Festival. So it is the 8th annual Fresh Film Festival, and that will be on the campus of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. The next 2 days are book festival days, um, full of authors, books, children's books, adult books, books of all kind, books on nature, books on the ecosystem, whatever it is. We've got poetry, we got prose, we got music, we've got everything that you could possibly want is at the Fresh Book Festival. So go ahead, get your tickets at freshbookfestivals.net, and we will see you next week in Daytona Beach. All right. Well, we are happy to be back here. Today is Jazz Music Day, and we have a great selection for today. And it's kind of a mixed selection, and so I think you will enjoy it. And it's a little different kind of way that we're doing this, but this selection is from a musical artist, and he's made a visit virtually anyway, his books. He's made a visit here to Tig Brad before, and he's back this year for another entry on our reading list. And our um, our subject is our title for today is Mixtape Potluck by none other than Questlove. Here's a copy of our book, and it's a cookbook, but it is a delightful cookbook. And so we are going to get right to our reading, and we're going to keep up our subscribe to our site here. And we're going to read from the introduction first, and then we're going to read some selections because of the way the book is done. What is a mixtape potluck? Is it an idea, an event, a piece of performance art, a magic show? Does it involve dozens of people assembling in the same place at the same time? Is it capable of producing various kinds of satisfaction for the body and the mind? The answer to all the questions except the very first one is yes, and the answers to all the others are the answer to the very first one. For years now, I have been throwing dinner parties. I call them food salons. I have any number of people over, not any number, but the number varies. And I invite chefs from the country's top restaurants to cook for them. The chefs make dishes that can be eaten partly standing up because that's what happens. People take their food on plates and walk around talking, laughing, and telling stories. For the guest list, I try to draw on all the different worlds that I'm lucky enough to be in: the music world, the TV world, the comedy world, the design world, the literary world, the technology world. The food salons are a great place to meet people, to catch up with people, and to enjoy people's company. They are also a great place for casual epiphanies. And um, we're going to keep going here. I'm going to read that again. They are also a great place for casual epiphanies. I know because about a year ago, I had one myself. I was standing in the middle of a food salon looking out across the crowd when it occurred to me that I should throw a different kind of party. Rather than invite chefs to cook, I should invite the guests to cook. Guests are always telling me that they have a super special secret recipe somewhere in their family, an amazing shrimp stew or vegetarian lasagna, and that they have to make it for me sometime. Okay, then. Why not make that happen sometime? Let me rephrase that. Why not make that sometime happen? Why not design an event where everyone makes that super special secret recipe all at once? That's the potluck part of this cookbook. Right behind it came the mixtape part. It might not even have been behind it. It might have sprung into my mind at the same time as part of that same epiphany. I decided that I would select a song to inspire each guest to cook. It wouldn't be a song specifically designed to direct them to a certain dish. I didn't want to tell them what to do. It wouldn't be a song that reflected the dish that they end up cooking. How would I know what that would be? It would be a song suggested to me by the people who were cooking, by what I knew of them and their creative lives. Fairly early on, I realized that not every contributor needed a prompt in the same way. Some people already had recipes in mind. Others wanted to play out their own creative string without outside direction. As a result, the songs and the dishes do not have a direct relationship. You can't put each song into a machine and then run around to the other side and collect the dish. Take them in the spirit they were given as creative inspiration. Also, it's important to clarify how the music in this book should be used. The songs next to each recipe are not songs that are part of my ideal dinner party list. Do not be confused by that. I did build an ultimate dinner party playlist. It's at the end of chapter 10. That's what you'll hear if you come to my house for the next amazing potluck. The songs on each recipe in this book aren't for entertainment purposes in that sense. They're for your personal use. They're a way of introducing you to the contributors and to a song that helped me think through their creative contribution. I hope that the songs and the people inspire you as well. Listen to them, love them, use them as you see fit. As the idea of the mixtape potluck started to come together, I was clear about one thing, which is that I wouldn't be cooking. I myself am not really a cook. It's the one area of my life where I feel like a total imposter. I'm not saying I can't cook. I have enough creative experience in other areas and enough of a sense of my own energies that I probably would make it happen. But time does not permit. The only time I will cook is in a relationship, and mostly at the beginning, and when making popcorn, which is not really considered cooking. This book was a pleasure to make. It is a pleasure to still be making it, but it is also a pleasure to use. Mixtape Potluck isn't just a document of the most awesome party I could have ever imagined. It's a cookbook and a real one. Each recipe has been tested in a kitchen and eaten by analytically minded humans. Each recipe can in turn be whipped up in a kitchen by you, the reader, or anyone you decide to give this book to as a gift, and I highly recommend it. The dishes are optimal for large groups, and for that matter, for large, loud groups who combine their eating with spirited discussions of ideas already done and ideas still to do. Put plates and dishes in the center of a big table. Point to your guests to them. Watch as those guests go to town. My fondest hope is that you use this cookbook in both ways to cook quietly for you and or your immediate family and to put together mixtape potlucks of your own. And there is an interactive component. When you cook, pay attention to what music you're playing in the background. See if the music affects what you do. And I can tell you as a cook, it does. Sometimes, as I say, the fit will be perfect. Sometimes it will be perfectly imperfect and produce productive tension. When you're done cooking and eating and done paying attention to what happened during both of those stages, share the results. Hashtag, my apologies, hashtag mixtape potluck. I want to hear about your matches and mismatches, your happy accidents and your train wrecks. Include photographs. If there's one thing this book has taught me, is that creative acts are like musical notes. They sustain you if you encourage them. I wanted, above all, to promote the idea of food as a communal experience. Many art forms are, to some degree. When you listen to music, you can do it alone, but it's different and some would argue more rewarding to go to a show and sit among hundreds of other people who are hearing the same thing you are. You can stream a movie on your laptop, but it's different, better to see it in a crowded theater. Food, at least the way I like to think about it, follows a similar principle. You can hire one of the world's great talents, whether it's a chef at a renowned restaurant or your grandma who happens to make the best lasagna known to humankind, to make a meal just for you. You can cook for yourself. I know people at work who make five-course meals for themselves. I get a little sad when they're talking about it. This weekend, I made a crab bake. It sounds delicious, but they live alone. If that's how you're doing it, maybe you're not getting the most out of it. The pleasure you feel, the sensations you experience are amplified and reflected by the people around you. They are a force multiplier and also a kaleidoscope. For me, eating with a big group of friends and family is like playing a live show or seeing a movie in a theater. It's the ultimate experience. Before I got started sending out music to all my guests, I realized that I had to pick a song for myself. I needed a practice run before the big show. I went through lots of songs about parties, eating at parties, cooking, chefs, kitchens, utensils, tables, chairs, and enjoying. The song that kept surfacing in my mind was Cab Calloway's Everybody Eats When They Come to My House. It's a novelty song from 1948 in which Cab welcomes a number of people to his house, rhyming names with dishes until the whole thing becomes a surreal mix of guests and dishes. There are a number of stanzas, but the first one gives a pretty complete account of the way things work. Have a banana, Hannah. Try the salami, Tommy. Get with the gravy, Davy. Everybody eats when they come to my house. I picked that song for myself, and then I realized that I wasn't just picking it for myself, I was picking it for the whole potluck. Everybody eats when they come to my house. Truer words have never been sung. Questlove, signed Questlove. So, our first entry that we are going to read is the South Philly Seafood Stew by Tariq Trotter. The Roots got our start in Philly, playing out on South Street. Instead of a drum, I used a chitlin bucket. Tariq brought everything back home with a local favorite. Some call this chopino, and there are variations around the country, San Francisco, for example, but I think of it always and forever as Philly stew. And the musical part of this, so what I read is what I'm reading as we go through this. I'm reading the intro to the recipe and then I'm reading the music part afterwards. So here is the music part. Tariq has been my musical partner for decades, in the Roots, at Fallon, and is one of the best cooks I know, although he keeps it close to the vest and personal. It's for him and his family, something he does because he likes eating fine food, and he doesn't really care about getting noticed or getting credit. On the other hand, sometimes he will show up at work with something he cooked, and it'll be amazing, like it came from the hands of a professional. Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross's Home Cooking, it's a song, has the same mix of smooth professionalism and vocal daring. And that selection is the South Philly Seafood Stew by Tariq Trotter. Our next selection is jollof rice with jerk chicken and marinated gooseberries. And this one is by Kwame Onwachi. Onwachi. Um, Everything about this dish radiates heat. The colors are hot colors, the food is hot food, and the enthusiasm that it sparked in potluck guests was off the charts. That's what Jollof does. Kwame has taken pains to be an ambassador for Afro Caribbean cooking. Whenever I'm at one of his restaurants, he comes out and tells us about the ingredients, the preparations, and even the palate. Once he made sorbets shaped like hot peppers, and he talked about the impact of reds, yellows, and oranges in a dessert setting. That was in DC, which led me to go go music. Go go, of course, is the capital's brand of homegrown funk which stretched into the early days of hip hop and combined and recombined its DNA. I went for the Young Senators, a first wave DC group, and picked Jungle, their best known song. It was released on the band's own label, Innovation Records. The name resonates, the independence resonates, the ambition resonates. Our next selection is lamb chops with mint salsa over couscous. And this is by Athena Calderone. The smell of this dish got me even before the taste. It hit from maybe 6 feet away, and it was incredible. And the salsa is so good that people may want to use it on other dishes. Go ahead. It's a potluck. Dishes talking to each other is part of the fun. Moonshadow by Cat Stevens isn't about food. I'm not sure what it's about. Moons? Shadows? What's strange about this song is that before I heard the original, I heard a cover version by Patti LaBelle. It's an epically long cover version, close to 10 minutes, and halfway through, Patty begins to monologue about various things, including cooking and soul food. Patty makes it her own. Much cooking is sort of a version of this process, not purely original composition so much as creating distinctive cover versions. Athena won't be the first person to cook whatever she cooks, but she can put her stamp on it. And our next selection is Cinnamon Rolls with Honey Mead Icing by Dominique Ansel. Sometimes you know how delicious a dessert is going to be just from looking at it. And sometimes a meal needs to end with a sweet, sticky thing. The Ohio Players' Sweet Sticky Thing is a song about different kinds of sugar, sweet taste, and also sweet love. I was about 5 years old when I heard the song, and I didn't think of it as anything salacious, even though the cover photo showed a naked woman. I was innocent about it and about what it represented, or at the very least, I might have thought that all kinds of pleasure, the pleasure of a good song sung well, and of sweet food and anything else, were sort of the same. I want to throw this out as inspiration and see what happens when sweetness in a song meets a chef who is known for bringing the world more sweetness. And our last selection in this wonderful book, and I highly encourage you to, uh, if you can, and if just have some fun with your family. This is a wonderful book to play music around and enjoy some good food. So next is mac and cheese by Q-Tip. You can make this up to 2 days ahead of time and then heat it for the party. That makes it a peace of mind dish. And you, peace of mind, that is, that makes it a peace of mind dish. And you can substitute different cheeses, though I wouldn't tamper too much with this recipe, as Tip has calibrated it to perfection. Seriously, I've never had better mac and cheese. I have tried to respect the rule of not sending people songs on which they themselves appeared. It's been hard though, and now I'm going to start breaking it. And now I'm going to start breaking it. Why? because when a person agrees to contribute to a cookbook, and that person is a founding member of a legendary hip hop group, A Tribe Called Quest, that has recorded, along with its songs about community, spirituality, and political reality, songs about food, the tendency is to choose one of them. I did. I can't think of Q-Tip and food without thinking of ham and eggs. The song was one of the first conscious rap anthems I ever heard, mostly because it did what no one else had dared to do. It took those childhood foods that all of us held dear and held them up to nutritional scrutiny. And so today, our genre is jazz and music. And our selection today has been this gorgeous silver book, Mixtape Potluck by Questlove. A little different take on jazz and music, but I would tell you that all the descriptions throughout the song for the recipes, all the songs throughout, are fantastic. And of course, you can get playlist and just his insight. He is a wonderfully creative and gifted man. And so that's why he's shown up again on our list. Excuse me. One of the reasons he's shown up again on our reading list. And so today has been Mixtape Potluck by Questlove for day 16 jazz and music. Well, we want to invite you to read along with us. If you get a chance, read along and enjoy what we are doing here at the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. We are reading as we give voice to words written by Black people all around the world, and we want you to join us. So if you decide to read with us, announce the title of the literature, read for 5 to 7 minutes, at least identify the author, identify yourself, tag us, the International Great Black Read Aloud Day, or TIGBRAD 2024, and don't forget to tag your family and friends. Well, tomorrow is Children's Lit Day, and we will be back with you tomorrow for a very special read on Children's Day. And so we look forward to seeing you tomorrow here on the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. And if you haven't, we want you to join us and we want you to share. Share the readings, join in with the readings. Don't just listen. Go ahead and participate with us and enjoy it. We appreciate you tuning in for day 16 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day 2024.